Hello, and welcome back to the Everyday English Podcast. I am so glad you could join us today for an episode that I think is going to help so many of you feel more confident in a very common but very stressful daily situation. I am Sarah, and as always, I am joined by Jack. How are you today, Jack?
I am doing great, Sarah. I am actually quite excited about today's topic because even after years of speaking English, I still remember how intimidating this specific situation used to be for me. It is a situation where you are in a car, you are hungry, you are under pressure, and you have to speak into a small metal box.
Exactly. We're talking about the drive-thru. If you are living in the United States, Canada, Australia, or many other English-speaking countries, the drive-thru is a staple of daily life. It is how we get our morning coffee, our lunch on a busy workday, or our snacks during a long road trip. But for an English learner, the drive-thru is like the ultimate final boss level of a video game.
That is a perfect way to describe it. Think about the challenges. First, you cannot see the person you are talking to. You lose all those helpful visual cues like lip reading or hand gestures. Second, the audio quality is usually terrible. It sounds like someone is talking through a tin can filled with rocks. And third, there is a line of cars behind you. You feel the pressure to move quickly. If you stumble over your words, you feel like you are holding everyone up.
It is a high-pressure environment, which is why your brain often freezes. You might know how to order a burger in a sit-down restaurant, but when that crackling voice comes through the speaker box, suddenly you forget the word for cheese. Today, we are going to break down the drive-thru experience into small, manageable pieces. We want to move you from feeling flustered and anxious to feeling completely in control. By the end of this lesson, you'll have a clear script, the vocabulary to modify your order, and the confidence to handle any surprises the speaker box throws at you.
And if you find these types of real-life English breakdowns helpful for your daily routine, please do take a moment to subscribe to the Everyday English Podcast and hit that notification bell. We want to make sure you never miss a chance to turn a stressful daily task into a moment of fluency.
Let's start with the scene. Imagine it is Friday night. You have been driving for a while. It is raining, which makes it even harder to hear. You pull up to the menu board. Usually, there is a sensor in the ground that alerts the staff that a car has arrived. You might hear a beep in your ear, and then the voice. Jack, what does that voice usually sound like in the real world?
In a textbook, the voice says, "Welcome to our restaurant. How may I help you today?" But in reality, it sounds more like a muffled blur. It might sound like, "Burger King, can I take your order?" Or even shorter, like, "Go ahead when you're ready." The most important thing to realize is that you do not need to understand every single word of the greeting. You just need to recognize the tone. When the voice stops speaking, it is your turn.
That is such a good point. Don't panic if you miss the first 3 words. They are almost certainly saying hello and asking what you want. But what if you aren't ready? This is where the first tool in your toolbox comes in. If you need a second to look at the menu, do not stay silent. Silence creates confusion for the worker. Jack, what should the listener say?
You should say, "One moment, please," or "I just need a second to look at the menu." This is a power move. It tells the worker that you are there, you heard them, and you are taking control of the pace. Most workers will simply say, "Sure thing," or "Take your time." This removes the immediate pressure and lets you find the words you need.
Now, let's talk about the order itself. Most fast food menus are organized by numbers. You'll see a picture of a burger, fries, and a drink, and next to it will be a large number 1 or number 2. Jack, why should learners use these numbers instead of the full names of the items?
Using the numbers is your safety net. If you try to say, "I would like the double-decker deluxe bacon specialty burger," there are so many places where your pronunciation might trip you up. But everyone can say number 3. It is clear, it is fast, and it reduces the chance of a misunderstanding. When you use the number, the worker immediately knows the base of your order.
Exactly. And the grammar for this is quite simple. You can say, "I'll have a number 1, please," or "Can I get a number 4?" We use "I'll have" because it is a decision you are making right now in the moment. "Can I get" is also very natural and friendly in a drive-thru setting. But here is where it gets tricky. What if you want the number 1, but you hate onions, or you want to change the drink? This is where many learners get stuck and just accept the onions because they are afraid to modify the order. Sarah, how can we teach them to pivot and make those changes? You use the word but. It is a simple bridge. I'll have a number 1, but with no onions, please. Or, I'll have a number 5, but can I swap the fries for a side salad? Let's look at that word swap. To swap means to exchange one thing for another. It is a very common word in casual English. You could also say substitute, but swap feels more natural in a fast food setting.
Let's practice some common modifications because this is how you get exactly what you want. If you want something removed, you say no onions or without pickles. If you want something added, you say with extra sauce or can I add bacon to that? And a very useful phrase for people who are picky about their food or have allergies is on the side. For example, can I get the mayo on the side? This means they will put the mayonnaise in a small container instead of putting it on the burger. It gives you more control.
That is a great tip. Now, once you have stated your main order, the person in the speaker box is going to ask you a series of follow-up questions. They are moving through a checklist on their computer screen. Jack, what is usually the first question they ask after you pick a meal?
They will almost always ask about the size. They might say, do you want to make that a large? Or would you like to supersize that? They are trying to upsell you, which means they want you to spend a little more money for a larger portion. If you want the standard size, you can just say, no thanks, just the regular. If you do want the big one, you say, yes please, make it a large.
And then comes the drink. They might say, what would you like to drink with that? Or simply, what drink? Again, keep it simple. A Coke, an iced tea, a water. If you want a specific type of soda, like a diet soda, make sure to say that clearly. Jack, let's talk about the word soda.
Depending on where you are in the world, people might call it soda, pop, or a soft drink. In some parts of the southern United States, they might even call everything a Coke, even if it is a Sprite. But in a drive-thru, everyone will understand soda or the specific brand name. If you want a tea, they might ask sweetened or unsweetened. This is a common point of confusion. Sweetened means it has sugar already in it. Unsweetened means it does not.
After the drink, they will often ask if you want any dipping sauces, especially if you ordered chicken nuggets or fries. They might say, any sauce for the nuggets? You should know your favorite flavors. Barbecue, ranch, honey mustard, or sweet and sour are the most common. If you don't want any, just say, no thanks, I'm all set.
I'm all set. That is a phrase we heard in our previous lesson about road trips. It is so useful here. It means I have everything I need, I am finished. It is a very polite and natural way to end your part of the conversation. When you say, I'm all set, the worker knows they can give you the total price.
But before you are all set, there is one more thing that can happen, the out-of-stock problem. Imagine you have your heart set on a chocolate milkshake. You ask for it, and the voice says, I'm sorry, our shake machine is down, or we're fresh out of chocolate. This is a moment where a lot of learners panic.
It is a total curveball. Being fresh out of something just means they have completely sold out or don't have it right now. If the shake machine is down, it means it is broken or being cleaned. In this situation, you have two choices. You can pick something else, or you can just cancel that part of the order. You might say, oh, in that case, I'll just have a vanilla instead. Or, no worries, I'll skip the shake today.
No worries is a great phrase to keep the interaction friendly. It shows you aren't upset about the machine being broken. Now, let's talk about the very end of the speaker box interaction. The worker will say something like, that will be $12.54 at the first window, or please pull forward. Jack, what should the listener do if they didn't hear the total price?
Do not worry about it. This is a secret of the drive-thru. The price is almost always displayed on a small digital screen near the speaker or at the actual window where you pay. If you missed it, just drive forward. You can ask for the total when you see a human being. Don't sit at the speaker asking how much over and over again. It just increases your stress.
That is excellent advice. So you have finished the speaker box battle. You pull your car forward. Usually there are two windows. The first window is for payment, and the second window is for picking up your food. Sometimes in smaller places it is the same window for both. When you get to the payment window, you can use your English to clarify things. You might say, was that $12.54 as you hand over your cash or card? If you are using a mobile payment like Apple Pay or Google Pay, you can ask, do you take mobile pay? Or can I tap my phone? This is also the time to ask for any small things you forgot at the speaker box. Maybe you need extra napkins or a few more packets of ketchup. You can say, could I grab some extra napkins, please? Or, is there any way I could get a few more ketchups? The phrase, could I grab, is very common and casual. It is a polite way of asking for something small and quick.
Once you have paid, you move to the final window. This is where the magic happens and you get your food. But don't just take the bag and drive away immediately. This is a big mistake many people make because they are in a hurry. You should do a quick check. Does the bag feel heavy enough for the number of items you ordered? Did you get your drinks?
If something is missing, stay calm. You are now face to face with a person. You can point to the bag and say, "I think I'm missing my large fries," or "I actually ordered a Diet Coke, but this looks like a regular Coke." You don't need complicated grammar here. "I think I'm missing" and "I actually ordered" are your two best friends for correcting mistakes.
And if everything is correct, a simple "thank you, have a good one" is the perfect way to finish. Have a good one is a very common American English expression that just means have a good day or have a good evening. It is friendly and makes you sound very natural.
So we have covered the whole process, but since this is the Everyday English podcast, we want to go a little deeper into the vocabulary and the sounds. Jack, let's do a little bit of shadowing practice. I am going to say a phrase like a textbook, and I want you to say it like a fast-talking drive-thru worker. Then we can explain the difference.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Textbook phrase number 1. Would you like any sauce with your order?
Real world. Any sauce with that?
Notice how Jack dropped almost the entire first half of the sentence. He didn't say, "Would you like?" He just went straight to the main point. Any sauce? In the real world, English is about efficiency. The worker has a goal to keep the line moving. They will often cut out the polite introductions and just use nouns and short questions.
That's right. Let's try another one. Sarah, give me the textbook version of the greeting.
Welcome to McDonald's. May I take your order?
Real world. Welcome to McDonald's. Order when you're ready.
In that version, Jack blended the words together. Welcome to becomes welcome to. It almost sounds like one word. And instead of a question, he used a statement, order when you're ready. If you are listening for "May I take your order?" and you hear "order when you're ready," you might get confused. But the key word there is order. Whenever you hear that word, it is your signal to start talking.
Let's look at some specific vocabulary for different types of drive-thrus because it isn't always burgers. Coffee drive-thrus are incredibly popular. If you are at a place like Starbucks or Dunkin', the vocabulary changes. You might hear words like roast, blend, or shot.
Oh, that is a great point. If you order a coffee, they will ask, "What size?" and then, "Any room for cream?" Jack, what does room for cream mean?
This is a classic coffee phrase. If they ask if you want room, they are asking if they should leave some empty space at the top of the cup. This is so you can pour in your own milk or cream without the coffee overflowing. If you drink your coffee black, you say, "No room, thanks." If you like a lot of milk, you say, "Yes, please, plenty of room."
And then there is the shot. In the world of coffee, a shot usually refers to a shot of espresso. They might ask, "Do you want to add an extra shot to that?" They are asking if you want more caffeine. If you are feeling tired after your long drive, you might say, "Yes, please, make it a double."
And what about the milk alternatives? This is very common now. You might see options like oat milk, almond milk, or soy milk. If you want to change the milk, you would use that same but structure we talked about earlier. I'll have a large latte, but with oat milk, please.
This is all about being specific. The more specific you are, the less likely the worker will have to ask you follow-up questions, which reduces the total amount of listening you have to do. It's a win-win situation.
Let's talk about a very specific type of anxiety, the honking car. You are at the speaker, you are trying your best, and the person in the car behind you honks their horn. This can make your heart race and make you forget all your English. Sarah, what is your advice for this?
My advice is to ignore them completely. You are a paying customer. You have every right to take the time you need to get your order right. If you rush because of a honk, you are more likely to make a mistake, which will actually take more time at the window. Take a deep breath, focus on the speaker box, and remember your phrase. One moment, please. You are in control of your car and your conversation.
That is so important. Fluency isn't just about knowing words. It is about managing your emotions in a second language. If you can stay calm, your brain can access the vocabulary you have studied. If you panic, that path is blocked.
Now, I want to touch on something we mentioned in the beginning, why this is so good for your English overall. Drive-thrus are a form of narrow listening. You know the context, you know the likely questions, and you have a clear goal. This makes it a perfect environment to practice. Each time you go through a drive-thru, you are training your ears to hear English through noise and distortion. That is a high-level skill.
It really is. It's like training for a marathon by running in the sand. If you can understand a muddled voice through a rainy drive-thru speaker, you will find it much easier to understand a clear conversation in a quiet office or a classroom.
Let's review our drive-thru checklist for our listeners. This is a summary of the habits you should build. Step 1. Pull up and wait for the greeting. Step 2. Use your buy time phrase if you need it. 1 moment, please. Step 3. Use the number system. I'll have a number 2. Step 4. Add your modification, but with no onions. Step 5. Answer the size and drink questions. Step 6. Pull forward, pay, and do a quick bag check.
It sounds so much more manageable when you break it down like that. And remember, the people working in fast food see hundreds of people every day. They have heard every accent, every mistake, and every confused order you can imagine. They aren't judging your English, they are just trying to get the burger into the bag.
Exactly. They are on your team. They want the interaction to be successful just as much as you do. Now, Jack, before we wrap up, I want to give our listeners a little challenge. We always like to end with a practical step.
I love the challenges. What have you got for them today?
My challenge is this. The next time you are in your car, or even if you are just walking, find a video on YouTube of a drive-thru POV. There are many videos where people film their experience going through different drive-thrus. Watch one with the sound on. Try to identify the greeting. Then, before the person in the video speaks, try to say your own order out loud using the number plus modification script we learned today.
That is a great idea. It's a zero-risk way to practice. You can pause the video, rewind it, and try again until you feel like you are matching the speed of the interaction. It's like a flight simulator for English learners.
And once you have done that a few times, the next step is to actually go do it. Go to a coffee shop or a burger place. Even if you only order one small thing, the victory of successfully navigating the speaker box will give you a massive boost in confidence. That confidence will carry over into your work, your travels, and your daily life.
Well said, Sarah. To all our listeners, remember that fluency is built in these small, everyday moments. It isn't just about passing a test or reading a textbook. It is about being able to live your life in English, one burger or one coffee at a time. You have the tools now. You know the script. You know how to handle the static.
Thank you so much for listening to this deep dive episode of the Everyday English Podcast. We hope this makes your next road trip or your next lunch break a little bit easier and a lot more fluent. If you enjoyed this lesson, please do subscribe, give us a like, and share it with a friend who might be struggling with their drive-thru anxiety. We love being a part of your daily English journey.
We really do. It is a privilege to help you navigate these real-world situations. Don't let the speaker box scare you. You are prepared, you are capable, and you are ready to order.
Go out there and try it. We believe in you. Until next time, keep practicing, keep listening, and keep living your life in English.
Have a good one, everybody.
Goodbye for now.